This is the third in our series of brief talks on the dangers of falsehood and the immense importance of truthfulness as the key to humanity's future. We should realize that falsehood is not only a question of telling lies, half-truths, or being devious. If I choose, for whatever reason, to ignore or downplay a negative phenomenon or danger, or when I allow a blatant untruth to go unchallenged, I am in fact subscribing to falsehood by knowingly allowing it to prevail. And conversely, if I ignore a well-founded warning or a plausible claim, I'm also pandering to falsehood. For example, if I leave on the lights or the air conditioner in my home or office when I don't need them, I'm ignoring the warnings about pollution and the probability that global warming is at least partly our own doing. I am needlessly making the world a more hazardous place, not only for myself, but for my children and grandchildren. On the other hand, by relating honestly what seems probable, I can immediately begin to play my part in helping redeem the planet. Many people allow themselves and their children to be duped by slick advertising showing good-looking men, women, and children happily gulping down sugar-saturated, artificially flavored soft drinks or gorging on salty, chemically corrupted concoctions posing as food that are created with one purpose only, and that is to make a big profit, while the health of the public is of little consequence. But by allowing ourselves to be taken in by crafty promotion gimmicks and ignoring what has been common knowledge for over a generation about sensible nutrition and the dangers of factory-processed foodstuffs, we are ruining our health, sapping our energy, and cutting short our lives. We're certainly not doing our children any favors. It's a form of wishful thinking. And wishful thinking is often the same, not always, but the same very often, as lying to ourselves. By the way, I bet that many of the people involved in all this guile are actually pretty decent folks who would be mortified if they fully realized the harm that they are promoting. There are many other ways that we lie or deceive ourselves. Politics and ideology, for example. Many people automatically accept or reject ideas because they seem to relate to some ideological or political principle or party line, usually according to either liberal, progressive, left-wing sentiments, or conversely, a conservative right-wing stand. We mentioned this briefly in our last video. But as far as I can make out, there are usually many valid claims that are made by both sides. Equal rights, freedom of expression, social issues, protection of the environment, a determined stand to prevent warfare. These are all noble, worthy sentiments, whether they are usually predominantly left-wing or left-of-center causes or not. And so are free enterprise, security of one's country, curbing unlimited sexual licentiousness, and maintaining a loyal, honorable national identity, even if these causes are usually part of a right-wing platform. Surely what counts is whether the claims make sense or not. But unfortunately, a fairly common attitude is to accept or reject something mainly according to how it tallies or seems to tally with an overall political platform or ideological system, or which politicians are supporting or rejecting the idea. And often this tendency on our part precludes considering each issue purely on its own merits. But in today's precarious world, we have to face facts. All facts and factors, as soberly and objectively as possible. In other words, knowledge of the issues. backed by personal honesty and truthfulness, should always determine how we make our value judgments and choose what to support, what to reject, and what to remain undecided about. This should be our approach when contemplating what to do on a personal basis regarding a healthy lifestyle for ourselves and our families, or pollution and climate change, or any other vital issue for that matter. Actually, it is the Israel-Arab conflict that so penetratingly shows how falsehood in its various forms can play an enormous part in creating misery and calamity. In our next talk, we will focus on this conflict and through it come closer to understanding how we can avoid a global apocalypse. These talks are based on my book, How to Avoid Armageddon. It is available through Amazon or from the publisher, Old Line Publishing, or you can ask at bookstores. Thank you.